As you can see, I have made a clock in front of you, right? So just completing it, let me take a random time. For example, you can say 3 o'clock. Okay, so at 3 o'clock our clock should look like this, right? As you all know, the shorthand of the clock is known as the hour hand, HH, fine, and the long hand is known as the MH, that is the minute hand of the clock. Now, expanding our concept further, we will not be talking about the second hand over here, right? That is not required for the time being. So talking about the minute hand first. In how much time it completes one full circle of the clock? If I ask you this way, right? In how much time it covers an angle of 360 degree? So you can very well know that it will cover in 1 hour. How much? 360 degrees, right? You all know this. 1 hour is equivalent to how many minutes? 60 minutes. Perfect. So which means, now taking this to the other side, 1 minute is equal to 360 divided by 60 will give me 6 degrees, right? So now I have found out that my minute hand has a speed of how much? 6 degrees per minute, that it moves 6 degrees in 1 minute. Clear? The second thing. Second, we talk about our hour hand, right? The hour hand. Again, the hour hand completes 360 degree in how much? 12 hours, right? If now I have shown the time to be, let us say, 3 p.m. Again, when the hour hand will be here at 3 a.m. and from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. of the same day will be how much? 12 hours, right? So 12 hours is equal to 360 degrees. 12 hours is equal to how many minutes? 12 into 60, that will be 720 minutes by is equal to 360 degrees. So 1 minute will give me 360 upon 720, that will be half degrees. Clear? So the speed of the hour hand will be how much? Half degrees per minute. These are our two very important results, right, which we'll be using further. Now, it is clear one thing, that our minute hand is moving faster than the hour hand. Clear? So we know the concept of relative speed, right? Now they are both moving in the same direction, that is the clockwise direction. So which means what we will do, we will subtract their speeds to calculate their relative speed. So this will be 6 minus 1 by 2. This gives me 12 minus 1, 11 by 2 degrees per minute, or some of you can say 5 degrees per minute is the relative speed. But for our sake of calculation, we will be using only 11 by 2, right? I hope this is clear. Now comes our tricky part. I hope you note it down, or you can pause the video also, right? Now comes the part where you have to actually find the angle between the two hands of the clock, right? Now let the time be given to you as 3:15, right? 3:15. We are not concerned about AM or PM right now. Now just look at it for a moment. The hour hand, right, it covers 30 degrees in 1 hour. Clear? From the same formula that I told you before. So in 3 hours it will be covering how much? In 3 hours it will be covering 90 degrees, right? That is pretty much clear. Now we come to this term of 15 minutes. Now many children always answer me without thinking, that, sir, the answer will be 0 degrees, right? That the angle between the two ends of the clock will be 90 degrees because at 3:15 they both will be at the same position, right? But that is not the case. Why? Because in the remaining 15 minutes, right, the hour hand will not wait for the minute hand to come and meet itself, right? It will also move in the clockwise direction. So in 15 minutes, our hour hand and minute hand will be covering some distance too, right? Hour hand in 15 minutes, it covers 1/2 degrees in 1 minute. So in 15 minutes, it will be 15 into 1/2. Minute hand covers 6 degrees in 1 minute. So in 15 minutes, how much it will cover? 6 into 15. Clear? Now we divide this and we come our answer to be 7.5 degree, and 6 into 15 is 90 degree. So the total angle moved by the hour hand is how much? 90 plus 7.5, which gives my answer to be 97.5 degree, which is moved by the hour hand. And how much by the minute hand alone? It has moved an angle of 90 degree, right? The minute hand. And how much is the angle between them? That is simply 97.5 minus 90 is equal to 7.5 degrees, right? I hope you all understood it. See, we are using very simple concept, right? Only you have to keep your presence of mind. So at 3:15, our clock will be looking something like this. Between 3 and 4, it will be 3:30. Right, between 3:30 and 3 will be 3:15. So the minute hand will be at 3 and the hour hand will be pointing at 3:15, and we have found out this angle to be how much? 7.5 degrees. Clear? Now another thing, we all know that doing a question by concept and mugging up a formula, there is a difference, right? And mugging up somehow is always easy. So okay, we'll make up a generalized formula to calculate the angle between the two ends of the clock. Generalized formula. Whenever you have to calculate the angle between the two ends of the clock, you will use this 30 into A minus 11/2 B. Now let me explain this. In this formula, A will be the time in hours and B will be the time in minutes. Okay? And this sign, you all know, this is the sign of modulus or mod in short form, which means that no matter what our answer comes inside the sign of modulus, but outside it will always come out to be positive, right? Because simply time cannot be negative. Okay, now we'll move on to the other part. So moving on, we'll be doing some standard result based upon the topic of clocks, right? Now first, please note it down, they're very important. In how many times in 1 hour, how many times in 1 hour do minute hand and hour hand coincide? That is a meet. Now the term coincide means that the angle between them will be how much? 0 degree, right? They will do this thing only once every hour. Clear? Expanding this point further, I ask you how many times in 12 hours minute hand and hour hand coincide. Now answer. They will do this phenomena only not 12 but 11 times. Why? because between 11 and 1 o'clock they will meet only one time at 12 o'clock, right? Second result, how many times in 1 hour minute hand and hour hand are opposite? Clear? Now I've written the word opposite, which means that the angle between them will be how much? 180 degrees. Clear? They will do this phenomena again. Write it down only one time or once every hour. Again, how many times in 12 hours minute hand and hour hand will be opposite? Again, they will be 11 times. Okay, why? Because between 5 to 7, right, they will be opposite only one time, that will be at 6. Clear? Our third result. Now it is a combination of both the two results. How many times in 1 hour, right, minute hand and hour hand are in a straight line, right? If you just think for a moment, one time they are in a straight line when they are meeting or coinciding, and the other time they are in a straight line when they are opposite to each other. So our answer will be 2 times, right? And this phenomena will repeat how many times in 12 hours? That will be 22 times, right? Because 11 plus 11, 22. Clear? Now we come to our fourth very important conclusion. The fourth conclusion, in a way, is our expansion of our second result or the second conclusion. Right? If you read it, I have written how many times in 1 hour minute hand and hour hand are opposite to each other. Now I am asking, in 1 hour, how many times, right, does minute hand and hour hand make 90 degrees, right? In 1 hour, how many times they both make an angle of 90 degrees? Clear? Now if we note it down, that in 1 hour they are already making 180 degree one time. And how we can split 180 degrees? 90 plus 90, right? 2 times. So our answer will be 2 times. Okay. And in 12 hours, how many times this phenomena will repeat? That will be 22 times. Clear? And in 24 hours it will be 44 times, right? Double of the 12 hours. Clear? Now, moving on, we'll be doing some questions upon these standard results. So now you are given a question on that 4 results, right? The question is that between 4 and 5 o'clock, you have to tell when the minute hand and the hour hand will coincide. They will be opposite and they will make an angle of 90 degree first time. Okay, I hope they are clear. First of all, making a clock, right? 12, 6, 3, 9. We are only concerned with 4 and 5. So between 3 and 6 at equal distance, we will make our 4 and 5. Right? something like this. Yes. So now I have depicted the time of 4 o'clock, right? Now coming to our first part, when they will coincide. As you know that an hour hand makes an angle of 30 degree in 1 hour. So in 4 hours it will make an angle of 4 into 30, right? That will be 120 degrees. Clear? So this angle is 120 degree. Now we will understand this concept of coinciding by speed, distance and time. Okay. Now let us suppose that this distance of 120 degrees has to be covered by our minute hand, right? It will cover this distance of 120 degree and it will catch the hour hand and they will meet and the angle between them will be 0 degrees, right? But in that time our hour hand will not wait for the minute hand, it is also moving. So we will use our relative speed, that will be how much? 11 by 2 degrees per minute, right? So we have our distance, we have our speed, we only have to find out our time. Clear? So time will be how much? Distance upon speed, that is 120 upon 11 by 2 or 240 by 11. Clear? Now if you solve this, you will get something like 21 9 by 11. Now you can leave your answer here because generally in the questions or in the the papers, the options are given in this mixed fraction format. But remember one thing, this is what? 21 minutes and 9 by 11 seconds, right? So at 4 hours 21 minutes 9 by 11 seconds they will coincide. Or if you have to convert this 9 by 11 into seconds, that what you can do is 9 by 11 into 60, right? It will be how much? 540 by 11 and it will give you how much seconds? 11 4s are 44 and then 10 will come, so 41 seconds, right? Something like this you will get. Now again moving on, our opposite concept. Now if you look at one thing, when the minute hand and the hour hand will be opposite to each other, when they will form an angle of 90 degree. But first, for that, minute hand will have to cover this initial distance of 120 degrees, right? Plus it will cover an additional distance again of 180 degrees, right, to be opposite to our hand. Because no matter how much the minute hand moves in the first 120 degrees, the angle will keep on decreasing. But in the case of opposite, they need to have an angle of 180 degrees. Clear? So over here, what we'll have now, the distance to be covered by the minute hand is 120 degrees plus 180 degrees, which will give you 300 degrees. Again, you have the relative speed of 11 by 2, right, degrees per minute. And what you have to find out? Time. So now time will be 300 upon 11 by 2 or 600 by 11, right? So this will give you something of 54 6 by 11 minutes, and this will be what? Seconds, right? Now comes our third case, that will when they will make an angle of 90 degree for the first time. So for making the 90 degree for the first time, if you notice it now here, only if our minute hand, right, if our minute hand moves only 30 degrees more, right, then the angle left will be 120 minus 30 and it will be some like 90 degrees. Clear? So the distance to be moved is only 30 degrees, right? The relative speed is given to be 11 by 2 degrees per minute and the time will be 30 upon 11 by 2, that will be 60 upon 11, right? So 65s are 55, 5, 5 by 11. Again, this will be our minutes and this will be our seconds. And if you think for a moment, right? If you think for a moment that the clock will be like this, 1, 2, and it actually somehow makes a sense. Yes, the angle will be 90 degree. We can roughly find, roughly relate in our mind that the angle will be somewhere 90 degrees also. Clear? So I hope you understood this concept very well, right? So I'll be making my second part of this video. Please people, like and subscribe like always. Thank you.